Welcome to Search for Signs. My name is Gary Willing. If this information interests you, please press the like and subscribe button and press the bell for notifications. About 9 years or so ago, I was visiting the Philippines to meet my then girlfriend, who's my wife now's family, before my wife moved to the Philippines. And my wife and I stayed in Manila for a couple days. And it was right after I think it was a Category 5 typhoon hit Manila. I mean, it really did a lot of course, a lot of damage to that city. And the thing, I don't know if you've ever been to the Philippines or you've met someone from the Philippines, but at first sight, when you see somebody from the Philippines, they look very delicate. And I know my wife is very petite, and it's like she has to literally stand on her tiptoes to get to 5 feet. I mean, she is a tiny, tiny woman. But the quality of the people of the Philippines, they have such a kind of a quiet grit to them. They're not abrasive people. They're not brash, for the most part. I'm sure there are some, but they're not like that. But yet they have this wonderful grit to them. And when I was in the Philippines right after this happened, you couldn't even tell. Nobody was talking about it. Nobody's talking about it being the end of the world or anything like that. It was just something that happened. They dealt with it and they moved on. And it really is just amazing. They have such an amazing quality to them as a people. A lot to teach Americans, because Americans, as big and brash as we are, when something traumatic happens to us, we make such a huge issue out of it. Now, because we really are a spoiled people in a lot of ways. Now, I kind of digress, but there was the hotel that we stayed at was in a very kind of upscale area of Manila to some degree. I mean, and Manila is a huge city, but this was kind of near where the U.S. Embassy is. So there was a lot of Americans walking around there, and of course Filipinos and Filipinas because it's a huge, huge city, right? And I don't know how many people were out there, but there was a lot. But every time I left the hotel, there was this kid who looked like he was about 25-ish, 24, 25, 26 maybe. And he wasn't really talking to anybody until I came out, and he came gunning for me. And it was like he got right in my face, man, with these watches. And he was like, "Sir, buy one of these watches. Buy one of these watches. Sir, buy one of these watches. Great deal. I'll give you a great deal on these watches. It's regular, $100. I'll sell it to you for 20 or whatever it was, right? Real Rolex watch." And, he and I both knew they weren't real Rolex watches, but I was like, yeah, whatever, right? And he would follow me for some time, and I have to kind of tear myself away from him. So my wife or my girlfriend at the time, who's my wife now, would have to, so we could go to the, out to eat or, go sightseeing or whatever we were going to do. And then I'd come back to the hotel, and, a few hours later, and the same kid was there, not talking to anybody. But as soon as I was walking into the hotel, sir, buy one of these watches, buy one of these watches. He'd get right in my face with it. And I was like, no, don't want to buy one of these watches. No, don't need it. And then I remember we were leaving the hotel in the morning time, and I kind of looked out through the glass windows or the door, and I see him sitting on the curb. His head is down. He's not talking to anyone. And there was so many people walking on the street, a lot of Americans. He could have been bugging them, right? As soon as I walk out, his eyes meet mine. He comes running across the street. He was like watching the cars, and pew, darts across the street, comes right to me. Sir, buy one of these watches. Buy one of these watches. Buy one of these watches. And I don't know how many times I saw him. I saw him pretty much every time we left the hotel. And toward the end of my trip, he did the same thing, right? Buy one of these watches. Buy one of the watches. I got to make a good deal. $20. And as I was trying to tear myself away from him for the last time, he lightly grabs me by the arm and looks me right in the eye and said, "Sir, I really need this sale." And I just gave him the money, and he was going to give me the watch. And I was like, "No, you can just keep the watch, try to sell it somewhere else." And I'm telling you this story because these masters, if you see them in public, they are always trying to create an opportunity for a person to learn how to share. And we all need to learn how to share. And Maitreya is going to be talking about it at great length, on TV, when you see him on TV, about the need for not only countries to share, but corporations and, of course, individuals to share. At no point are any of these masters in Maitreya going to go into your bank account forcefully and take money out of your account. It's never going to happen, so you don't have to worry about that. But these masters, a lot of times, I mean, almost, I would say probably the majority of the time that people see them, I'm just guessing this is the majority of the time, but it's a lot. I mean, it's a large percentage of the time that when they go to teach us, they appear as beggars. And there's a reason why. Because they're trying to, for one, they're trying to create the awareness in the person of the poverty in the world. And two, they're trying to create the opportunity for the person to give. And when you give, according to Maitreya, you recognize God in your brother. And when you give, as Maitreya would say, you become godlike because God shares. That's all the divine really does is share. And so, when you give, you become godlike. Does it mean you're going to get a superpower like, one of the Avengers or the X-Men? Of course not. But you have a superpower to give, and you can change a life by giving even just a little, I mean, what did Jesus say about the widow who gave her last penny? She gave more than the Pharisees who were rich, who made such a huge issue about giving a little to them, but was a lot more than a penny. He said that the woman who gave her last penny did more than they did, right? And so it doesn't take a lot, but these masters waste no time and no opportunity into teaching all of us how to share. And as always, take action. Help SOP save our planet. Thanks for listening, and we look forward to talking to you again in future videos. Have a great day.